ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 59th edition of Warring to Attitude. I am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is a man who is from the across the ocean and from the future. Here's the barroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than Tottenham is with Tottenham fans right now. At G. Russell, at R, aka Armbar Abbott. Glenn, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I will start with a little quote from Scott's blog of doom. And this sums this up all completely. He said, I hate this era of the show so much in retrospect, but I'm drawn to it like a moth is drawn to a crappy flame.
Now, see, I know last week didn't have a lot to build upon, but I didn't think this week was as horrible as last week. I thought it was actually pretty decent.
No, definitely not. It was definitely not as bad.
It definitely started off with the bang, but well, it didn't start off with a bang, but it started off with a match that you weren't expecting and a result that you didn't see coming at all. So,
yes, yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into that here momentarily. So, Glenn, unfortunately, right before we got on this podcast here, you nor I watched this game. I just checked the result on my phone right before we got on here, and Manchester City has defeated the hot shits of tot shit 2-0, and they did not help us. So our only hope is West Ham.
At least it means they don't qualify for Europe now.
That's true. That is true, Glenn. You know what? Let me ask you this, Glenn. You've been a fan longer than I have. Would you actively root for Arsenal to lose a game if they had a chance to qualify for Europe, if it meant Tottenham would win the league?
No, I'm complete. I was brought up in an era where we used to go because you couldn't travel away so much.
Right.
We'd go to Highbury one week and then White Hart Lane the next week. And it didn't matter. We were watching football. So there wasn't this fierce rivalry that there seems to be around. But it's the same with wrestling. People just want to be nasty and vicious, argumentative about everything.
Right.
Whether it's football, wrestling, or whatever. And that's part of the trouble of the world at the moment. And that's it. I will get off of my soapbox now.
I mean that is true. I know people. I'm one of these people who are always like, why are people always complaining about everything? But I think you're right. That's just this era of the world. It's the era of the complainers.
It is. And
the problem is, go ahead.
It is all down to social media.
Yep, it's because you don't have to say anything to anyone's face anymore. You just can say it into your phone screen or into a computer screen, and there are no consequences of the things that you say, because if there were consequences of the things that you say, people wouldn't say them because they'd get punched in the mouth for it. The last game of the season on Sunday, Glenn. It's an interesting day because they play every single game at the same time, and
they do.
They literally have every game on here. They like 8 channels. I think they have soccer on the golf channel over here on Sunday.
Yeah, they'll do it over here as well.
Which I joked to Rachel, all the old guys who watch golf are going to go, but soccer's boring. And we're going, really, sir? Really? Soccer is boring?
An 8-mile walk hitting a little ball.
Right. Yes, sir. Soccer is boring. Stop it. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, either which way it goes, I think we should be pretty goddamn proud of the team this year. I mean, any other time this would win the league, but we're facing against a juggernaut at this point.
They are beating numbers and records that the Invincibles set up. It's ridiculous what they're doing, and they can't shake City off. All down to 3 dodgy games in mid-season.
I know I know Dan Griffin is listening to us in talking agony about how we're going to lose the league by 1 point. He's probably giggling his balls off right now.
Yep. But Liverpool have done it so many times. He knows what it feels like.
Yeah, he understands our pain a little bit. Yeah. I mean, he understands our pain a lot more because I think it's happened to them multiple times, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what can you do?
And to City. And that's why they hate them with passion as well.
Yeah, I know you feel like differently about it, but I really don't really have that much of a hatred for Liverpool, honestly, except for sometimes when they're like, when their fans were criticizing Teta for, the way he reacted when we scored goals against them. Most of the time, I don't really have a problem with Liverpool. I like some of their players. So I don't know.
To be honest, I know quite a lot of decent Liverpool fans.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I never had any bad interaction with Liverpool fans. They're always very sensible. No one's ever a fucking asshole. So
no.
And they don't really say things that are outright stupid. Like here, Chelsea fans say things that are just outright stupid.
Oh yeah, London is blue. Yeah, all right.
Sure.
Okay. Mid-table blue.
That's right. Anyway, pal, let's do it. You ready to talk about some wrestling?
Oh yes, why not?
All right, here we do it. It's Raw is War from November the 24th, 1997. Thanksgiving week, I believe, in the States, that would be 1997. We are at the Cumberland County Memorial Auditorium, Glenn, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. This arena opened in 1968, and as you can imagine, Glenn, it was a hotbed for wrestling in the 60s all the way up until the late 90s. Mid-Atlantic Wrestling ran through the late 80s, throughout the 70s, and then Jim Crockett Promotions, of course, ran the building in 1983. They even had Day 9 of the Great American Bash 1986 tour and Day 28 of the 1987 tour. 28 days of a Great American Bash tour feels like a lot of days.
And people complain about 2 nights of WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure 28 of those weren't telecasted, but that's insane. 28 days. And it held day 19 of the 1992 tour, which is the fact that they were still having that many dates in the 1992 tour for the WCW Great American Bash, considering where WCW was at as a company at that point, is kind of laughable.
They loved throwing money away at that point, didn't they?
They did. They liked it. They really did love to light it on fire, Glenn. So I went into this week's show thinking there's no way that it could be any worse than last week's. So
no, that was very true. And it proved right. This is the sort of show that people remember bits of.
Yes. Yeah.
And that sort of what's the word for it? Mosaic.
Right.
Of all these little bits of these shows that we see make up the Attitude Era in people's heads. And that's why they think it's so wonderful.
Yes. I think that's going to be really good when we start getting into 1998, because things really start to ramp up in 98 and really into 99, where they do a lot of over-the-top things. And I think when me and you go back and look at it on like with like a what's the word I'm thinking of? Like a rose-colored glasses or something, because we're looking at it differently than we would before. I think we're going to see that maybe 1999 WWE wasn't all that different from WCW 2000. They just had better main events. I mean, they had the Dog Kennel from Hell match in 99, so you can't tell me that's creative genius.
That's right. And I am never, ever not going to laugh at Steve Austin hitting Vince McMahon over the head with a bedpan.
Oh, that's funny forever. So they open the show. It's Harvey Wippleman comes down to the ring. He's dressed as Rick Rude. He's got Rick Rude's music.
He even did a good job of that, didn't he?
Besides being handsome, yes.
Yeah. Well, that was it. Handsome Harvey.
But even like the way he made his voice sound when he was doing the whole stick, I thought that was good, because he does the whole DX intro. Shawn Michaels and Triple H and China come out there. They immediately get on the mic. Shawn, go ahead.
But amazed me is when Rick Rude was on, they dubbed him with generic music. And yet when Harvey Wippleman came out, they stuck with the old original Rick Rude theme.
You know what? You're right. I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. Or they would play the DX music first, and then he would come out and they'd bring him out and would start the DX music up again. So maybe they're trying to spite Rick Rude from beyond the grave, even though he's been dead for 30 years. So
that's right.
And so Shawn Michaels immediately gets in the ring. He gets on the mic. He pushes Harvey Wippleman over by his face and goes, "Wow, that was a tough spot to fill."
Yeah.
Kind of throwing a shot at Rick Rude, who has left now to WCW. He was on both shows last week. Let's hear a little bit of what Shawn Michaels has to say here in this opening monologue of
Oh, yes, please.
bullshit.
The world should know that Bret Hart is still under contract to the World Wrestling Federation until November 30th. Bret Hart deserved better. As God is my witness, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels have finally had contact with each other without the knowledge of the media, without the knowledge of the underground dirt sheet writers. I contacted Bret, and he spoke to me, and Bret and I have an arrangement, and we have an agreement. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels tonight. We'll settle this once and for all. It can either end with a handshake, or it can end in a fight. The fact of the matter is, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels will be here tonight, face to face, in the ring, and this controversy will be done once and for all.
And if you believe that, you believe in fairies.
Yeah, I got a fucking some oceanfront property here in Arizona I want to sell you.
Yeah.
From my front porch, you can see the sea. So like, we'll get into what happens later, but it's like you were saying, people only remember what they want to remember, and I think in my mind, what we're seeing that happens tonight with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels happened the night after Survivor Series. When I was like, if you would have asked me before we started doing the show, I would have been like, yeah, that was the night after Survivor Series, but it was a couple of nights. It was 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it would have probably been better on the night after.
Yeah. It probably would have worked out better. Yeah, it's just that it's like people don't realize. You think your mind is like this this computer that works. Your mind is stupid. It's just your mind is dumb. It fucks up. It blocks out things. It cuts out parts. Yeah, your mind isn't. You're not as smart as you think you are.
No.
Your brain's not as great as you think it is.
Nope. Especially when you get to my age.
And you've been hitting the head a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have, Glenn, but I'm assuming.
Oh, I have.
Speaking of hitting the head a lot, we have got a WWF Tag Team Championship match to open up the show, Glenn. The Legion of Doom will be defending their Tag Team Championships against the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, I'm assuming that this is what you were saying about being a surprise match.
Yeah, because I was a bit confused as to why this was taking place or how the New Age Outlaws had been determined to be the number one contender. The last time I saw them, they were getting beat up by the Los Boricuas. So, but they tell us that apparently that this match was scheduled for the pay-per-view, but LOD is so angry with everything that's been going on with these gentlemen that the New Age Outlaws, those gentlemen being, that they wanted that match to happen tonight. So apparently that's what's happening.
Okay.
Was this the first time that they got their actual music to the New Age Outlaws?
Yeah, and oh, you didn't know?
Yeah, because he did like variations of it, but it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't that exact. Yeah, they still have the LOD red shoulder pads. So if just LOD runs up the ramp, starts beating them down, runs them into the ring. What do you think about the match between LOD and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn here?
It was a good Road Dogg and Billy Gunn versus the LOD match. You can't expect any more from it than we got.
Yeah, I think what Glenn means by that is like it wasn't the greatest wrestling match that you're ever going to see, but when you put in context of who's wrestling in the match, it's a good match because the New Age Outlaws do a good job of cutting the ring off. They do underhanded tactics to keep LOD from getting tags. They distract the referee. They do the thing where LOD gets the tag, but the referee doesn't see it. They did that a couple of times. And I thought they maximized the time that they had, did a good job with it.
The amount of times watching this match where I thought, that's where Pretty Deadly got that from, or that's where they got that from. Because Pretty Deadly do it so well now, and it's not been done very well, but it shows how good the New Age Outlaws are at doing it.
Definitely. Yeah, and I don't think the New Age Outlaws get looked at as like one of the best tag teams ever, just because I think they were more known for their gimmick than what they did in the ring. But I think when you go back and watch it, for a heel tag team, they are a really, really good heel tag team. I agree.
Yeah. Road Dogg, as the, well, you can't call him the downtrodden babyface, but the one that takes the abuse of a dog at the beginning, as always.
Right.
That's Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express 101. One of them will be in the ring, take all the punishment, and the other one comes in and makes the save. And
yeah, definitely. LOD controlled much of the match. Eventually, Hawk misses a shoulder tackle in the corner, and he kind of he posts himself shoulder against the ring post there, and then that's when they really start to take over. They end up hitting Hawk with the tag team belt when the ref isn't looking, but Hawk kicks out. Hawk's finally able to tag an animal who comes into the cleaning house, but then he goes for a shoulder block and hits the referee, which takes the referee out. LOD then looks like they're going to set up their finishing maneuver, but Road Dogg comes with the chair and lays out Animal, which Billy then rolls him up as he hits him with the chair. Hawk goes after Road Dogg just as another referee slides into the ring, counts 3, and the New Age Outlaws are the new WWF Tag Team Champions. What a quick ascent. I think these guys have been on TV like a month.
Yeah. You're better at the referees. Who is that second referee?
That's Tim White.
It is Tim White, yeah. So that's about the quickest I've ever seen Tim White move.
I mean, he hasn't ran that fast since Andre said, "Get me more beer" in 1983.
Yeah, probably. It was not exactly a average count either.
It felt fast.
Yeah. Let's get it out. Let's get it done with.
Yeah, the LOD are not very happy with this. The New Age Outlaws immediately grab the belts and get the hell out of the Dodge. They get in their car and get the fuck out of there. LOD's yelling at the referee. I'm pretty shocking this going on in 1997. I imagine, like, as I was watching this live as a teenager, I was probably like, oh man, fuck these guys, because I hated them. Which meant they were doing their jobs.
That's right.
The crowd was like, literally, if you looked in the crowd, people were stunned. They did not see this coming.
No. Well, it's a championship match. It's the first match. And, the heels, as you say, not been there 5 minutes, get the win. It's really strange.
Yeah, but hey, man, it's a good way to get the show started. Definitely better than last week.
Oh, excellent! Yeah. Decent. So match.
They go to commercial. When they come back, they show that LOD was beating up security in the ring afterwards because they are very upset.
You missed a crucial bit there, as Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg are escaping. They nearly ram into a white limousine coming in.
Yes.
Which obviously contains Bret Hart.
Yeah, they even show us the limo out back, and they tell us they think Bret Hart is inside. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's a big car for the Bret Hart we're going to be seeing later.
Yeah, it certainly is.
We then get a video recapping, kind of talking about what happened, what led to the match between Sergeant Slaughter and Triple H, and then there's a little video of the career highlights of Sergeant Slaughter, which, I mean, did we really need that in 1997? Did we really need to recap the illustrious career of Sergeant Slaughter?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Really not.
I noticed, Glenn, that they forgot the parts where he burned the American flag and he was an Iraqi sympathizer. I think they forgot about that.
Yeah, they just conveniently forgot about those bits.
They didn't say that part, did they? They didn't show
No,
the
they
General
didn't.
Nadine, did they? No, they didn't. And then another thing we just needed, the Sarge comes out and does an interview with Michael Cole. Glenn, what did you think about this promo from Sarge?
It's a typical Sergeant Slaughter promo. That's all you can say about it, really.
And it would have been great and worked great in 1984, but it doesn't work in 97.
No. Have you got it there?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't feel it was worthy.
No, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, he said, because Triple H attacked his family, and that's why he wants to fight him. And
yeah, he's going to put his hat on and his fatigues because he's been living in a sports jacket. Just the usual rubbish, really.
You won't be facing the commissioner in 14 days. You'll be facing Sergeant Slaughter, and he said it's going to be a boot camp match. And then my favorite part of this is Michael Cole goes, "A boot camp match?" And he goes, "Shut up, puke." That was my favorite part.
We don't know what that is yet.
I'm not sure either. I don't know. It felt very out of place, but I guess we're getting a boot camp match in your house. I'm not sure, but that match might be bad enough to watch with the mayor. I'm going to pre-watch it and see.
I think so.
It can't be good.
I seem to remember it wasn't, but yeah, it's going to be slow, isn't it?
Yeah, so I used to go to a friend's house and watch all these back in the day, but I literally can't remember watching In Your House DX. It might have been one of those things where it's, because I was a teenager, maybe his parents were like, "Look, we bought you a bunch of fucking Christmas presents. We're not ordering wrestling this month." So maybe that's why I didn't do it, because I don't remember ever watching this show. I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's a strange time to have it in November, the end of November, isn't it?
Well, it's the beginning of December, yeah, because it's the first week of December, yeah. Yeah, I would say that that's probably not a good time for pay-per-view markets. It's December, no. I would say probably not. We then get a first round match in the light heavyweight tournament, the last first round match, and it is Brian Christopher taking on a man known as Just Flanagan.
Yeah, until they started calling him Flash Flanagan on commentary.
Did they actually start calling him Flash Flanagan?
Yeah, they did a couple of times.
I assume he was wrestling in Memphis in CWA at this time, and I assume that they didn't want to say Flash Flanagan because they already had Flash Funk.
Yeah. Unfortunately, JR put his foot in it.
Well, as JR does. I'm not trying to disparage JR, but he'll say things that the powers that be don't want him to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he says whatever comes into his head, doesn't he, really?
Yeah, it just pops in there, yeah. He's 50 years old today, this Flash Flanagan. Still wrestles from time to time, but he has not had a match since 2023. Flanagan did a really cool move to start the match, but we didn't get to see it at first because they were showing us the fucking match bracket.
Yeah, that's right. That doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, like, well, great, thanks.
So they had to show it again.
Yeah, they did actually finally show it. And it really wasn't all that impressive. You just kind of dove over the top rope.
He's not a bad wrestler, old Flanagan.
No, I mean, this was a decent match.
Yeah, if you take away Grandmaster Sexy or whatever they're calling him here, Brian Sexy's Christopher or whatever it is they're calling him. Yeah. Take away that horrible giggle that he's got, which is really annoying. This would have been a decent match.
Yeah, no, and then the King gets involved, of course, a bunch of times.
Yeah.
He grabs Flanagan's foot, which leads to Brian Christopher hitting a sunset powerbomb onto the outside on Flanagan. Yeah, I think this might have got the most time that any of the first round matches got. I'd have to go back and look, but it's got to be close.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
And like Flanagan did do a few cool things, but it was mostly to kind of get Brian Christopher over,
Yeah, but you got 2 decent wrestlers in there. You have to give them a bit of time.
Definitely, yeah. Well, and they're really trying to push Brian Christopher, which I'm pretty sure Taka Michinoku is the first light heavyweight champion, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Brian Christopher.
No.
If this was a trivia competition, Glenn, my final answer would be Taka Michinoku, but I'm not 100%. Yeah. They tell us that when they come back, we will see Bret Hart confront Shawn Michaels, which leads to the whole show restart. And did you notice we got a different video and a different song this time?
We did. We certainly did.
They're like, we got to cut out all this Bret Hart stuff.
Yeah. It drops him like a hot potato.
Yeah. I guess they're really trying to lean into the second hour being the war zone because they even had it up on the big screen as you came in with the fireworks, the war zone. DX back out up the ring. They're going to confront Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels says some somber. He has a somber look on his face as he comes to the ring. Hunter gets on the mic first and, blah, blah, blah about old Sergeant Slaughter. And then they say, all right, let's bring him out here. Bret the Hitman Hart. And it's, who was it?
It was a little man in a giant wig.
I think it was Max Mini in a wig, maybe.
It could have been had a mask on as well. So they could have,
who knew?
But it was definitely a mini man in a giant wig and face mask.
Yeah, with a Bret Hart mask. I didn't even know they made Bret Hart masks, but apparently they do. They did in '97. I'm not sure if they do now. You could check the internet. Mayor of Canton, maybe next year for your birthday. I'm just kidding. And then I don't know. They kind of mess with the little guy a little bit. They make they make the same bad mini jokes that you can hear me, the mayor, and Glenn make anytime we watch a match. If you want to hear it, go back and listen to those.
We see we're as juvenile as they are.
Well, they are DX. They're supposed to be juvenile. They do a whole reenactment of the match. Shawn puts him in the sharpshooter. They make Bret Hart tap out, scream. Shawn's the man, the icon, the showstopper. They stick a WCW sticker on his butt and send him on his way. But then a bearded man shows up, Glenn.
Bearded man.
Jim Neidhart.
Oh, that, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He comes out of the ramp. He says he's been living behind his shades for too long, and he can see clearly now, and he can see that you two lowlives are just a couple of degenerates. I don't know if he knows this, but people have been saying that for weeks. Why do you need to take his shades off to see it?
Yep, exactly.
I thought at this point he was going to go, and I can see that I'm just like you. I'm a degenerate just like you, so I want to join you, but that's not what happened. Let's hear it, Glenn. What do you think? Let's hear it.
It might have gone a bit better for him if he had.
He probably should have. I think this whole thing would have worked out better, Let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
When Shawn Michaels walked into the World Wrestling Federation, there was a tag team here more dominant than any tag team in WWF history, and the name of that team was the Hart Foundation. Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Jim, you had the knowledge, you had the experience, and you had the charisma, the personality that Bret Hart never, ever. Jim, your last name is Neidhart. It's not Hart. Why are you here? I'll tell you why you're here, Jim. Because you have a wife and you have a family to feed, and you're here looking for opportunity. An opportunity to be a part of the most elite team in wrestling history, Degeneration X. Jim, for one night only, one chance, one offer, tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This offer will be taken off the table. Jim, you have a chance to be a part of something and matter to someone. At 11 p.m., Jim, Degeneration X anxiously awaits your answer.
So there we go.
I wait with bated breath. What's he going to say?
Oh, boy. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, to find out if Jim Neidhart indeed does join DX. I bet a lot of people always talk about, the new Aged Outlaws, talk about Triple H, talk about Shawn Michaels, talk about China, talk about X-Pac, Nobody talks about Jim Neidhart, how he was in DX. Not a soul. Why not?
That's right. They might as
We
well,
didn't get. I'm sorry.
They-
What were you gonna say?
they might as well have sent poor old Jim Neidhart out there in a dunce's hat. One of those big pointy ones with a D on it. Oh,
In a pink tutu and have him fucking dance around in a circle. Then put a fucking WCW sign on his butt and send him on his way.
that's right.
We then get footage from the Super Supper Sweepstakes where winners got to go out to eat with Stone Cold Steve Austin. They showed like fucking 7 seconds of it. So
You said that, didn't you?
what I can tell you, Glenn, is they let us know that at In Your House DX, the matchup between Butterbean and Mark Merrow will be a 4-round tough man competition. Do you know what that means?
Nope, haven't got a clue.
Me neither. We'll find out together. That's in 2 weeks. We'll be reviewing that show. The next matchup is Savio Vega taking on King Shamrock. Savio Vega's lucky to have all of his stuff back that was stolen by the New Age Outlaws last week.
Just before that, still to come, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, spending this day working hard on the go.
I thought I'd give you that opportunity.
Yep.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Glenn, is it your birthday tomorrow?
It certainly is.
That means when people are watching this on Wednesday, it will be Glenn's 65th birthday. Happy birthday, Glenn.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna save your song for tomorrow when it's your actual birthday.
Okie dokie.
I know you're again waiting with bated breath.
Yes.
So Savio Vega attacks Shamrock before the bell rings. But of course, what are you gonna say? Go ahead.
This could have been all over in 2 minutes. This should have been all over in 2 minutes. Basically, by this point, Savio Vega, I know he's supposed to be the leaders of Dos Boricuas, but he is basically a mid-card jobber.
Oh, they're a mid-card jobber group.
And if you're selling Ken Shamrock as the most dangerous man and the next best thing to sliced bread, don't have this go as a competitive match.
Yeah, you're right.
Ken Shamrock should have slammed him, ankle locked him, and have it all be over his head.
It did go a little bit longer than I thought it should. Miguel Perez made his way down to the ring too, and he was kind of beating up Shamrock on the outside when Savio struck the ref.
I love that. Jerry Lawler gets all indignant about outside interference.
Oh yeah, it's like, I hate outside interference. That's great. Yeah, so it was a decent match, but to Glenn's point, it shouldn't have been a decent match. Because Shamrock literally has a championship match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
He can barely beat Savio Vega. So yeah, I mean, and he beats him by disqualification because he hits the belly to belly, and then he's gonna put him in the ankle lock, but Miguel Perez gets in the ring. No way, he knocked him down, and then he was able to still belly to. So he did win the match by tap out. Never mind.
Yeah, no, he put him in an ankle lock and tapped him out twice.
I just assumed that because it was a faction match, it had to end in DQ.
Oh yeah, as you would, but we haven't had one yet. In this show.
You know what, Glenn? You're right. There has been no DQs or no countouts yet.
And it makes a lot of difference.
That's true. That is true. They show Stone Cold Steve Austin has arrived at the arena in his Austin 316 truck, and it's got me wondering, Glenn. This was in fucking Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm pretty sure Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't live there. Does he just drive this truck from town to town?
Obviously.
With a cooler full of beer, screaming "What?" out the window.
Anybody seen The Rock?
And then here comes The Rock and the Nation of Domination. They are going to do an interview with Michael Cole. Not really, because they throw Michael Cole out of the ring immediately. Still has the belt that he stole.
Yeah. And this is the first time, really, we get The Rock.
That's right. And we're going to hear from The Rock. Here we go.
Good.
We're having some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Our lights are...
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing's for damn sure. The Rock is the best
damn Intercontinental champion there ever. The Rock is calling all the shots on this one. Why? Because I'm the champ, and I got it like that. What the hell's going on?
Technical problems. Dylan's only
What is it?
5 weeks.
Hey, go fix that incompetence.
It's not too happy.
Look at Chief Stone Cold in the controls here. Look at him. He's back up. Don't say a word. I'm not
There's
the
your
damn
answer
people.
right there.
Rocky
Look at this in
Maivia
the
thinks he's going to be on TV tonight. He's only going to be there if Stone Cold wants you to be there. They actually pay you to do this. A damn kindergarten student could do this. Rocky, I'm calling all the shots. I'm pushing all the buttons. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When you're walking through the airport and your beeper goes off, you look down and it says 316. You know your ass belongs to Stone Cold. You got to ask yourself a question. With me learning all this technology, you got to wonder, is it live or is it Memorex? Give me the damn controls, you piece of trash. See, because I can do this. You put your cap down, wear that. Try to be somebody for once. What's Rocky doing? How you like it? Give me some sound.
Somebody needs to get off out of the truck. Again, Austin got himself out of the truck. My God, the rattlesnake.
I have an issue with this.
Oh boy, go ahead.
Not with the promo. The promo was excellent. But Stone Cold knocks Rocky down. The belt spills out into the middle of the ring. But Stone Cold doesn't go after the belt. Rocky still ends up with the belt at the end of it.
Yeah.
It was a bit pointless, really, all that.
That was a bit strange. I mean, I assume that they want Rocky to keep the belt because they had the match at the pay-per-view. So
yeah, I can understand that. But I don't think he was meant to drop it as far away from him as he did.
Yeah, he should have like tossed it out of the ring or something.
Yeah, and sort of kicked it back to him.
Yeah, because I was like thinking, like, oh, Austin must have got the belt back, but then he didn't have it back. Yeah, so he starts beating up the Rock, but then the Nation comes out. Austin gets a chair, clears the Nation out of the ring. He tells Rock to take his little belt and have a happy Thanksgiving. Then he's got a little bird for him, and of course, flips him the bird. That's one of those moments that I remember, like, going to school the next day and talking about it, and people like coming up to me like, "Oh my God, did you see the Rocky sucks things and he beeped him?" And I remember talking about it with everybody at school. So that was like like I said, like that's what you said. This is like one of those moments that I remember from the Attitude Era, which makes it really great. But I like to forget about Mae Young had giving birth to a hand. You know what I mean?
That's right.
We then hear a motorcycle, Glenn, and Crush makes his way to the arena. He is going to be taking on the returning Jeff Jarrett or Willie.
Am I ready to wrestle? Ross, I was born ready. I came here tonight and I got myself prepared. But as I thought over the last few hours, and I've been rereading my contract, and Ross, I'm not so much talking to you. I'm talking to you, Vince McMahon, because it clearly states in my contract certain stipulations that I have to have. Is this a plush locker room? Is this a catered meal? Is this Evian water? No, it looks like well water to me. McMahon, in order for me to perform, you have to perform. And then, to top it all off, I see Chains go to the ring. Do I look like a biker? Do I look like a grease monkey? Get the camera up even closer. Do you think one person out there, McMahon, wants to see me wrestle Chains? Absolutely not. I am the world's greatest wrestler, and I came here to perform. And I can't showcase my ability against somebody like Chains, a biker, a grease monkey. Get the camera out of here. I'll come to you guys. And McMahon, I got some advice for you. If you want to see Jeff Jarrett in the ring, you better reread the contract and read the fine print. Because I signed it, McMahon, and you signed it. And I guarantee you, I will not step foot into the ring until you live up to your end of the bargain. Now get out of here.
You're not going to wrestle?
No, I'm not going to wrestle tonight.
Newsflash, Mr. Jarrett. Read the script. That wasn't Chains in the ring. That was Crush.
Okay. Yeah, my two issues with this. Number one, that's not Chains, it's Crush. Number two, what the fuck is he wearing? What is that? What is on there? What is the point? I don't understand.
I don't know. He looks like some Egyptian god or something.
He looks like he just walked out. You heard that song, Walk Like an Egyptian?
Yeah.
Was he in the fucking music video?
He must have been.
What the fuck is he wearing? So Crush wins by I guess because he didn't show up. So Crush wins, but bad news for Crush because Kane's here. Apparently the rest of the DOA members were busy. Or they were like polishing their bikes and nobody told them. You think they're watching this on a monitor? As soon as the fireworks go off, they need to get their ass into the ring, but they wait for a long time.
Dude, they wait till he's dead.
Yeah, till it's too late. So Kane comes down and beats Crush until he thinks he's Chains.
There was another little note from the guys at the blog of Doom here. Said, I kind of wish it was Change instead of Crush, because that would have been a way of more jokes to be made about fake Undertakers.
That would have been good. Yeah. It should have been. It should have been missed opportunity. Crush like throws everything he can at Kane, but Kane just, shrugs it all off, grabs him, choke slams him, picks him up, tombstones him. The rest of the DOA does eventually come down to the ring after Crush is already dead, but a bunch of WWF officials get in between them. Poor old Gerald Briscoe just kind of bumps into Kane a little bit, and he gets choke slammed for his troubles. So Kane's reign of terror continues. It does. And then we go to the main event of the evening, and we're going to wonder, will Jim Neidhart join DX? Or will we find out, in fact, that he has joined DX because they introduce him on the stage, and he is now an official member of DX, at least for about 7 minutes here. What did you think of this match between Vader and Shawn Michaels here in the main event?
Well, it sold the missing 30-odd minutes of the first half, because Vader comes out with a patch on his eye, and they tell us that Luna Vachon had thrown something in his eye.
Yeah, it was cut out of the Peacock version and the WWE Network version. So whatever they did, Goldust is in a wheelchair and Luna threw rubbing alcohol in his eye.
I think that was it, yeah. But apparently, whatever it was in very bad taste that even the WWE have taken it down.
So Vader comes to work, right? And they're like, all right, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have a guy in a wheelchair with his girlfriend rubbing alcohol in your eye. And then you're going to go out there and have a match with Shawn Michaels.
With one eye.
With one eye. And then we're going to throw hot coffee in your good eye.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, man, I'm going back to Japan. This is bullshit.
He must have paid them very well for that night.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so Vader's got a patch over his eye. You got any notes that you got from this match?
Not really, no. There wasn't much to it, was there?
No, Neidhart got involved. He kind of pulled the bottom rope down.
But Vader looked extra grubby, though.
Well, great. He can't see. He's blind.
I know, but...
I know that's not what you meant.
Even for Vader, he looked grubby.
Yeah, I think he was down bad, as they say at this point. Unfortunately.
He looked like he'd stank himself up a bit more.
Also, let's not forget, Leon got hit in the head with a fucking hammer last week, remember?
Yes, I know. He's never
coma.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, get hit in the head with a hammer he can't see. Lord, it's a bad month for Vader. Christmas is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It is what it is. Shawn Michaels wins after they throw the hot coffee in his eye, and he lands 2 super kicks on Vader. They celebrate in the ring with Neidhart, but then China low blows him. They beat Neidhart down. They call him all kinds of names. They're stomping on him. They declare DX runs the wrestling world, and the show goes off the air as they beat up poor Jim Neidhart. So his short-lived run as a member of DX is over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the end of Jim Neidhart.
In the World Wrestling. Well, yeah, in the World Wrestling. He's headed off to WCW as well. So there you have it, Glenn. What do we do? What do you think about this week? You get 1 thumb up, 2 thumbs up? I'm going to give it 1 solid one. You're giving it a 2.
I'll give it a 2 this week because the good outweighed the bad, and last week was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Something special.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought it was good in context and compared to last week, it was great, but I only think it's 1 thumb up for me. We'll see where next week brings us it's a go home show without a pay-per-view, Glenn. So we're going to see if we're going to go 12 for 12 with WWE for go home shows before pay-per-views. So,
and the way it's going is every other week there's a crappy show.
Yep. Next week might be all-time bad.
It could well be.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything good, folks.
The TV ratings for this week actually closer than they've been in a long time. WWE did a 3.05 and Nitro did a 3.92. So they are closing the gap.
Nitro taking a bit of a drop, haven't they?
They did. They went from down. They did over 4 points the 2 weeks before, but they're just under this week. Let's see where the trend will continue. Do you want to hear the matches that we missed since we watched Raw instead?
Yes, please.
We got the Steiner brothers who took on Disorderly Conduct, Mean Mike and Tough Tom. I swear to God, I didn't make that up. That is a real thing that's on this card. It was for the tag team championships because, Mean Mike and Tough Tom, they deserve a tag team championship match more than anyone.
I don't know who they are.
Me neither, but I need to find them and watch them wrestle because it sounds awful. Booker T defeated Ming. Chris Benoit defeated Sick Boy. Chris Benoit then turned into a Sick Boy. That's a topic for another show. Prince Iaukea defeated Alex Wright, who had Queen Deborah with him, which is strange. Randy Savage defeated Disco Inferno. Disco Inferno, fuck you. Dean Malenko defeated Brad Armstrong. Buff Bagwell defeated Chris Jericho. Ray Traylor defeated Kurt Hennig by disqualification, of course. And the Giant defeated Hollywood Hulk Hogan by DQ in a match that was for the World Championship. But, of course, Hogan retains because it was a DQ.
DQ.
Over or under, Glenn? Do you think that match went 5 minutes?
Under.
Yep, 4:33, Glenn. You are absolutely correct. So there you have it. That is this week's episode of Warring Attitude. Glenn, who do you need to plug before we get out of here?
I'm booking the territory with Danny and Rob. Their side projects, Unstacking the Territory. I've forgotten it. Being the Elite.
There you go.
The Gates Golf. I'm sorry, I just can't bring those two idiots to my mind. and they're doing all sorts of weird things now. It's not even Gator Golf anymore. Still.
It's hard to keep up with, to be honest with you. They keep switching games.
Yeah, and of course,
the Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Si.
And DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our buddy, our pal, the third member of our podcast team, the mayor of Canton on the Twitter machine, X, whatever they call it now. And check out A Meal with the Mayor every Wednesday where he tries fast foods. You don't have to. Sometimes he'll try aardvark fries. You might not know what that is, but you will know what that is if you watch A Meal with the Mayor every Wednesday. And, of course, check out Sports Wire Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all social media platforms. It's Thomas Bryce. It's just like it sounds. BRICE. Give him a follow. Check him out on YouTube, Sports Wire Radio with a Z, and check out the website, sportswireradio.org. And, of course, check out all the other shows we got going on. We're going to give you a two for Friday, double dose of a Psycho Sitting this week. So be on the lookout for that since we missed last week. And this week, on our main show, we're going to be starting our 3-part watch along of Slamboree 1996, the Lethal Lottery. One of my favorite childhood pay-per-views that I watched as an adult to realize that is absolutely dreadful, but that's absolutely what we're looking for. So be on the lookout for all of that. I don't think I have anything else to say. Glenn, how about you can say goodbye?
Goodbye.